Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. I'm going to keep this short and sweet so we can get straight into the audio. If you are not into tickle related content, please just do not watch anything on this channel. Save yourself the time and the hate comment. I'm really not in the mood. If you want more serious content or story-based content, there's a link in the description for my second channel where I'll be posting at some point in the future. Enjoy the audio.
Hello, no one is available to take your call. Please leave a message after the tone.
Lucifer hung up and let out a small sigh as he sat in his chair. He was disappointed, although he wasn't sure what he expected. He had tried to call Lilith, something he felt the impulse to do every now and then, but like usual, the outcome was always the same. Straight to voicemail. You had started to hang out with Lucifer after his appearance at the hotel, and the two of you had bonded quite well enough for him to request for you to be present during his occasional phone calls. You weren't sure why he had asked you to start coming, but you had guessed it was for moral support. Seeing Lucifer place his phone onto his desk and his hands in his head saddened you. You could tell he missed Lilith a lot. You scoot your own chair over to his side before placing a gentle hand onto his back. You felt bad for not really knowing what to do. Sorry. I know I should be used to this by now.
Hey, don't say that. You have a right to be upset.
You frowned a bit at his words. You hated when Lucifer was upset, but hated it more when he diminished his own feelings. He shouldn't have to pretend like he was okay. You pulled Lucifer into a gentle hug, which he graciously returned, burying his face into the crook of your neck. You could tell he needed this moment, to just be held for a little while.
Thanks, Duckling.
You could still hear the sadness in his voice, and it made you frown a bit. You wanted to think of a way to cheer him up, but what could you do? You two could paint ducks together, or maybe some pancakes. But both those options required energy and focus you were sure Lucifer didn't have right now. Then you remembered a conversation you had with Charlie. She told you all about how she and Lucifer would play a game called Feathers Up. In this game, one person was the duck, and the other person was the hunter. When the hunter says feathers up, the duck would have to spread their arms and wings above their heads and keep them there while the hunter inspected them. If the duck failed to keep their arms or wings up, the hunter would say duck season before capturing the duck. When she first told you about the game, you thought it was both cute and pretty funny. You decided to try it in hopes of cheering up the duck-loving king.
Hey, Lucifer. Do you want to play a game with me?
Seeing Lucifer lift his head from your shoulder, you smiled a bit, seeing you had piqued his interest.
What kind of game? I think you know it well. It's called Feathers Up.
As soon as the words leave your mouth, you can see the blush rise to Lucifer's cheeks. He clearly hadn't expected you to say that.
How do you? Charlie filled me in earlier. It sounds like a fun game, don't you think?
You could see gears turning in Lucifer's head as he averted his gaze away from yours. Then he said the answer you were hoping for.
Sure.
You could see his blush deepen in color as he nodded, clearly trying to prepare himself for what was to come. You shift your chair so that you're directly facing Lucifer, looking at him with a gentle smile as he looked back at you with a nervous one. He was already squirming in anticipation.
Ready?
Mm-hmm.
Feathers up.
Lucifer lifted his arms above his head and spread out all 6 of his wings. You had to admit, his feathers looked pretty soft. You could see the blush forming on Lucifer's cheeks as he watched your hands with anticipation.
Alright, time for the inspection.
Before Lucifer could muster up a response, a faint squeal stopped him in his tracks. He quickly looked down at your hands again as he watched you slowly spider your fingers up and down his sides.
No, you look so cute, Lucy.
No. Lucifer makes an attempt to hide his face from you, but quickly realizes he'd need his arms for that. He let out sporadic giggles and whines as he squirmed in his chair, making no real attempt to escape from the little game you two were playing.
Duckling, please. Please, what, silly?
It was a bit funny seeing Lucifer so flustered by the soft touches you gave him. Considering just how powerful he was, it was cute to think he couldn't handle a bit of tickling.
Not there.
Lucifer's arms nearly dropped as you moved your hands from his sides to his armpits. Seeing him wiggle around and struggle to keep his arms up was a bit funny looking. He almost looked like he was doing a little dance in his seat.
No, but Lucy.
Don't tease. You laughed a bit as Lucifer averts his gaze, the feathers of his wings starting to fluff up in response to the tickling.
Keep those arms up, or else it's duck season, Lucy.
Lucifer let out a shy and giggly whine as he shakily kept his arms up. You could tell he was starting to find it difficult to keep himself still. I'm perfectly fine.
Oh yeah, completely fine.
Without hesitation, you shift your hands from Lucifer's armpits to his second pair of wings. You can audibly hear the gasp he lets out as his wings involuntarily spread open a bit more from your touch.
Such pretty wings.
Using one hand, you gently scratch along the base of his wings where they connect to his back, slowly running your fingers through his feathers with your other hand. Lucifer instantly dissolved into a laughing and squeaking mess, which sounded a bit similar to that of a duck quacking, which you found both adorable and hilarious. His arms shot down as he meekly attempts to push your hands away from his wings. Wait.
Looks like you lose, Lucy.
As you increase the pace of your tickling just a bit, you hear Lucifer let out a giggly whine at your continuous teasing and taunting, no longer attempting to push you away and instead opting to hide his face from you. That's not fair. You got me off guard.
Well, that's too bad, Lucy. Looks like it's duck season.
Without another moment's hesitation, you wrap your arms around Lucifer, pulling him into what seemed like a nice hug, but was really your way of keeping him from escaping what was about to come next. With gentle hands, you begin to scratch away at Lucifer's wing pits, constantly switching which pair of wings you tickle so he couldn't get used to the feeling right away. All the while, you teasingly nibble on his neck, repeatedly saying nom each time you came into contact with the sensitive area. Lucifer was a complete mess. His squeals and squeaks could be heard all throughout his laughter as he squirmed helplessly in your hold. You both knew fully well that if Lucifer truly wanted you to stop, he could make you at any point during this little game of yours. But he has yet to do so.
Oh, your wings are so soft, Lucy.
Please. You laughed a bit at his pleading since you had no clue what exactly he was pleading for.
Please what, silly duck? You have to be specific.
You could see Lucifer's cheeks had flushed a bright yellow as you kept up your pace of gentle scratches and nibbles.
I can't help you if you don't tell me what's up. Are you saying please more?
No. You laugh again, hearing Lucifer sputter out his words in between his laughter. Could he get any cuter?
Then please what, Lucy?
Please, stop. You could see Lucifer making a desperate attempt to hide his face with his hat, but not making any attempts to move away from you. He was just too cute for you not to tickle.
I don't know, Lucy. Doesn't look like you want me to stop.
You could have sworn you saw his blush get brighter as he buried his face into his hat, laughing and squealing up a storm. You could tell by the big smile on his face that your plan to cheer him up had been successful. You decided to end the tickling off with one last bang. Since Lucifer had buried his face into his hat, he was unable to see as you gently brought one of his wings closer to you, softly sliding your fingers through his feathers before he suddenly heard you inhale deeply. Duckling! No! Fuck! Lucifer hadn't expected you to blow a raspberry, let alone on his wing. The rest of his wings fluffed up and flapped around in vain attempt to escape your touch. He was overcome with laughter as you wasted no time to blow more and more raspberries onto his wings, specifically aiming for his wing pits. Stop! Duckling, please. Seeing that he had enough, you finally stopped after one last raspberry, enjoying his little squeaks one last time before you completely stopped.
Are you okay, Lucy?
Lucifer was a mess of giggles as he rested in your arms. You happily held him while gently massaging the wing you had just tormented with raspberries. When he was fully able to regain some of his composure, he answered your question with one of his own. Can we play again?